Hey everybody, I am here today with my good friend Christy for Sequin Secrets. I'm showing you the products I'm going to be playing with today. Today I'm going to focus on some metal dies. So the techniques I'm going to show you today will work for any kind of project. This does not have to be a card or scrapbooking project. You just need a metal die. I'm going to use a tag and a leaf sprig, but you could totally use any kind of metal die for this or any kind of small embellishment. If you have a pack of white tags, it will work perfectly. Whatever you have. The focus today is on taking some simple shapes, some simple white cardstock shapes, however you create them, and then adding detail, dimension, and color using sequins. I'm going to be working with some saltwater taffy Distress Oxide ink. This is the newest color. I have some Blushing Bride sequins from Spiegelmom Scraps, so we have those as well. And the Blushing Bride sequins are available in the shop over at Spiegelmom Scraps. I will leave my link in the description box. Saltwater taffy is available from a cherry on top, and that will be linked in my description box. And the third little thing we are going to be using today are some wax seals that I made using my wax from Craspire. That was my newest haul video from them. That was up on my channel yesterday. So in this case, I used the wax and made some wax seals with the stamper because I wanted that pretty pink color. So what I'm doing here is I have a tag with die cut in white. I have used the saltwater taffy to give the tag a dip dyed look to it. So I put a heavy amount of the oxide ink towards the bottom and then up towards the top. It is lighter. And now I'm going to fill the middle section of my tag with sequins. You could fill the entire bottom section of the tag with sequins. I find for tags, it's absolutely amazing if you take one section of the tag, whether it is the top, whether it is the bottom, or in this case, just the middle, and fill that section with sequins. I love to put underneath those sequins some Distress Oxide ink, whatever color you think will match your sequin mix. The reason that I think that works so well is because if you have some gaps between your sequins, if you have that pretty inked up background, the gaps kind of completely disappear. It's amazing when you have a white background. Sometimes you get like a garret, you can see a lot of white coming through that sequin mix, and sometimes it doesn't look as cohesive as if you have a shade of Distress Oxide ink inked up behind that large amount of that large cluster of sequins. So I am just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, which is perfectly clear, so you don't see any of the glue when it dries. I am kind of gluing up a section of my tag, and then I'm just using my crystal katana, or in some cases my fingers, to get the sequins exactly where I want. I'm alternating size, I'm alternating colors. The reason I'm doing this and doing it kind of precisely is because, so I have one shade of pink on my tag. Then I have one shade of pink from that 6x8 paper pad. That will be on my project. Then I have one shade of pink that is in my wax seal. All three of those shades of pink are in the Blushing Bride sequin mix. So I want to make sure that sequin mix is varied and includes all of those different shades of pink, because I'm using my sequin mix to pull these colors that maybe wouldn't look cohesive and correct you know, if I just had the paper, and then I just had the tag with the one pink, and then I just had the wax seal with the one pink, and nothing that pulled together all three of those shades of pink, it wouldn't look as cohesive or as put together as it does. And the reason it looks so well put together at the end, the finished projects looked well put together because that sequin mix encompasses all of those colors together. So while I'm creating this large band on my tag, I want to make sure I am getting some of all of those shades of pink into one spot on my project. This is where I'm stopping. Now this tag could be used on a multitude of product. I'm going to use it on a card. You don't have to use it on a card. You can use it on any kind of project you like. And now I'm going to go ahead and get to work on my little die cut leaf sprigs. Again, these could be anything. If you have some old naked chipboard in your stash, you could paint it white and then layer the sequins on top of it. If you have a metal die that you really like, that is more on the plain side, this is a great way to kind of spruce those up a little bit. If you have an electronic die cutting machine like a Cameo or a Cricut, and you want to cut a title out of white cardstock and then add sequin accents to it like this. Each of these little leaves are just getting 2 or 3 little sequins, and I'm clustering them together. It gives them the look of being berries or flowers or something like that is sitting on the leaves, and I love the way it looks. But there are lots and lots of uses for this technique, and this is a great way if you're looking for a way to incorporate sequins into your projects and you're kind of at a loss. You don't want to just kind of sprinkle them about a page. You want them to have more of an obvious purpose being on your layout. This is a great way to use them. And again, I have one sheet of paper picked out as the background for my project. I have another wax seal that I want to incorporate on this project. So what I'm doing is I'm alternating all of the different shades of pink on these leaves so that when I add that wax seal, it doesn't look odd. When I use that pattern paper, it doesn't look like the pattern paper and the wax seal are out of place. They're all going to look cohesive because the sequins contain all of those colors. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take more of that pretty saltwater taffy color, and I'm going to ink up just the edges of these more skeleton-like leaves. I love to mix these leaves together. They're a die, very, very old die set. I know that they're not available anywhere. But what I do like about them is that they have these two pieces and these two different kinds of leaves, and it makes them super versatile. So anything like this type of a die or like this type of a cut file would be really nice because you can cluster them all up then. I'm just adding that little bit of color, and now I'm going to clean my mat off just with a baby wipe. Distress Oxide ink is kind of awesome that way. It just kind of wipes off your surface without a problem. And now I'm going to go ahead and work on kind of clustering up these leaves. And for this particular video and for the project using these sequin leaves and tags, I am going to go ahead and make 2 cards. And I know I'm a little off camera here. Unfortunately, I forgot to zoom out. I forgot to zoom my camera out, so I'm still here. I'm just kind of off to the side a little bit, and I think you can see most of the process of putting my cards together. I know that on my channel I have been making a lot of cards recently, so I want to talk to you a little bit about why that is, because there is actually a reason why. So as most of you know, I have 2 older sons. So my oldest son is 22. The one next in line is 15. And at their ages, I only have so many picture taking opportunities. And those are kind of my supply of pictures that I have to scrapbook are dwindling a bit. So just know that whenever a card making, I'm using quotation marks here, card making video pops up on my channel, those techniques and the things that I am showing you in those videos will translate to any project. So things here, like I am adding this hemp cord to my tag and then adding the wax seal up at the top by the hole, and creating this tag that has the sequins on it. Even though I'm putting it on a card, you could not put it on a card. You can put it on a scrapbook page. You can put it in a traveler's notebook. It's still completely a versatile element, and all my card making videos are like that. You can take what I am sharing with you, the content, and you can use it in any type of paper crafting project that you'd like. So just keep that in mind, because I put together a lot of content, and I am to some degree running out of pictures, which will probably change as the summer months go on, because my youngest son is very much a plant person, and we go out and we do things and lots of outdoor activities. So that will change. I mean, it should change. And I also don't really, as much as I love my dogs, I don't want albums and albums and albums full of pictures of my dogs, because I feel like I'm going to go back and look at those pages and go, well, that was the reason there's more dog pictures than, people pictures in these pages is because I didn't have people pictures to scrapbook. Like, I'm very much an authentic person. And so my scrapbook pages, I want to use them and keep them and have them and those kinds of things. So just know that going in, if I'm making cards, or if you see it pop up card making process, don't skip over it. There is probably lots of techniques in there that you can use on scrapbook pages too. Okay, I'm sorry I kind of talked through that card, and here's where I remember that my camera needed zoomed out a bit. And so now we're going to go through the next one, which is okay, because that first card was pretty simple. This second one, though, I'm going to show you how to make like a big bouquet with all of these sequined branches, and then add some of that hemp twine and a wax seal to the middle. And so this whole middle part of this card, you could make it separately from the card and then place it as a large kind of accented embellishment on a scrapbook page beside a photo, and it would look beautiful. So what I'm doing here is I have the 3 kind of outline leaves as the base of my large embellishment cluster. Then I have the 3, I think I use 3 or 4, I'm not sure, maybe 4. I know I end up with 1 extra, but then I'm kind of layering up the sprigs that have the sequins attached to them. So the ones with the sequins are on top of the ones where we just colored them in lately. And then I'm taking this hemp. Now these are glued. Everything is glued together. So when it's all finished, it's going to make one kind of large element. I'm adding the hemp cord, and I'm just kind of tying it into a bow, a loose bow. I don't want actually like a big bow, because I just put my wax seal down right there in the middle. If you are making these into cards and you want to give these a try with the wax seals, make sure that the cards are hand given to a person, because when you send a card out into the nether, out into the big wide world, you don't know how hot it's going to get. And if the wax seals get too hot, they will melt. So these cards will not be put into the mail. They will be hand given, like say at a wedding or at a graduation party or something like that, where you're handing the recipient the card. Just adding a bit more glue. I want to make sure I get the the wax seal placed exactly where I want it. And I'm just going to trim off this hemp cord. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the whole thing down. But you wouldn't have to be gluing it to a card. You could be gluing it onto a scrapbook page. You could be gluing it to a traveler's notebook or a Life Crafted album page if you don't mind a little bit of chunk, because these are a bit dimensional. They're not big acrylic or wood pieces, but they do have a little bit of bulk to them. I'm adding some kind of auxiliary sequins to both of these cards. I did it on the tag card. I'm going to do it on this one. Just a sprinkle, just to pull it all together. And that is where we are going to call these two projects done. Here are some close-ups of both of my projects. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Please be sure to head over and check out Christy's Sequin Secret projects for today. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye.